You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Welcome to episode 98 of the Soul Forge podcast.
Welcome to the Soul Forge, a place of silent mystery, quiet contemplation, and outright mayhem. Join your host, Sean Vanderloo, as he guides you through the adventures of living. Together, we'll talk about life and love, sex and dating, joy and heartache, memories and loss, and so much more. Don't worry, it's not nearly as pretentious as it sounds. Get ready for life, the universe, and everything on the Soul Forge.
Hey gang, it's Sean, and I've got a special guest here with me today. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm excellent. You're Stacey?
Yeah.
Arrowsmith?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Arrowsmith song? Do you get that joke all the time?
Yeah. No, I don't actually.
No?
No.
That's okay.
They were my first band I seen though.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, before he became an Aerosmith.
Oh,
So, yeah.
right on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we met, about a month ago?
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
We both work for Canada Post.
Yeah.
I'm a letter carrier, and you are a route measurement officer.
I am.
So
yeah.
You've come here to measure all our mail, count it up, weigh it, and see if we're going to keep our routes, change them up maybe, see what happens.
Yeah.
Because we need to be, what's the best word for that?
Efficient.
Efficient and revise the routes every once in a while, because
Give them a fresh look.
based on parcel volume, letter volume, flyers and stuff.
Yeah, keep them balanced.
And you're from down south.
I am. I'm from Niagara Falls area. I was born in Grimsby, Ontario.
Okay,
Yeah.
so quite a ways away from here, up in Timmins.
Yeah, it's colder here.
It is cold. Bit of a culture shock for you, I bet.
Yeah.
Had you ever been up here before?
Yeah, I've been up here a couple times in the summertime.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not in the late spring.
No.
Surprise.
Yeah, I keep, it's amazing how much snow you still have.
Oh, yeah, this has been the worst winter in like a dozen years at least.
Yeah, everybody's backyard I go into, their snowbanks are the same size as their fence.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think I still have about 3 feet of snow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
for this time, there shouldn't be any at this time.
No,
So-
no, I know down south there's not.
I didn't think so.
No.
The other day, I handed you one of my podcast business cards.
Yeah.
As I do, I like to spread the word about the show. And then you listened to a couple episodes.
Yeah.
And what you did is you said, you know what, I do a blog. And I'm like, really? Okay. So I looked at your blog. And can you tell our listeners where we can find it?
You can find my blog at chipmunksrvlife.com.
Okay, I'll put that in the show notes as well, so
Okay.
they can see that.
Yeah.
And so I started reading it, and I was like, okay. Because you said something about living in a van, and I made the joke, oh, you live in a van down by the river? And you hear that all the time, right?
Yeah.
Of course. I don't even know what that's from. People say it all the time.
Yeah, it's an SCTV
It's a skit or something.
skit,
Okay.
I believe, yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so I said, you know what? How about we record an episode of Soul Forge, talk about your life, because I don't know anything about it, and I have a bunch of questions,
Yeah.
and I'm sure our listeners would be fascinated too.
Oh, absolutely. I love sharing my life.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll start with the early life. You grew up in Niagara Falls,
Yeah.
lived a traditional life, you got married,
Yeah.
had kids,
Absolutely. I have 2 beautiful girls and 2 beautiful grandbabies. Yeah.
lived your life.
Yeah.
And
Right
then,
up until I was 50 years old.
And then what happened?
And then it was time for a change.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got divorced and I sold our marital home. We had a large piece of property, almost an acre and a half, and lots of buildings to put stuff in, and 4 bedrooms, 2 stories. And I sold that, and I bought a little house out on the lake, and it was 2 bedroom ranch style, great garage, and then it was time for another change.
So all your houses that you had stuff in them,
Oh, lots.
like packed to the gills, as they say.
Absolutely. It was a big change just going from the 4 bedroom to the 2 bedroom.
Oh, I bet it was.
Yeah. So I had to get rid of lots of stuff. Downsizing, right?
Oh, for
Downsizing.
sure. I've been there, done it.
Yeah. So I moved into the little 2 bedroom house and downsized from there. And then I decided that because I travel for a living, and it made more sense. It didn't make sense for me to be paying a mortgage and taxes and hydro on a place that I never was at.
So with your job, you go to different, I guess we call them locals, different towns where there's roots, of course.
Yeah.
And you're always gone, or do you have like a home base?
I have a home base. I'll go back to my Hamilton office. I'm based out of Hamilton.
Okay.
So I could be there for months at a time, or I could be there for weeks at a time, or I could be there for the weekend. It all depends on the schedule and who needs me where. And because I'm so fluent with my travel and I can really go anywhere at any time, I end up going to many places. So, and I love to travel. It's one of my favorite things. I always have been, even when I had a house and a marriage and kids. And
you were always doing something.
Always doing something, yeah. And in a van.
In a van.
In a van. I've always had a van, yeah.
Okay.
So
actually, one of the vans in your blog is your baby, I guess.
Is my baby, yeah.
It's a 1969 Ford Econoline?
That is it. She's a super van. Yeah.
What makes it super van?
That's actually the model of the van.
Okay.
It's got a long wheelbase, and it was made not for hauling, but for
riding around.
Yeah. So yeah, she's 100% original.
How long have you had it?
I've had that one for 6 years. I had a 1974 Ford Econoline before that, and I had her for well over 26.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. My kids grew up in what they call a mid-Ford. So my kids grew up in a mid-Ford van, and
So you've always had vans?
Always had vans. So it wasn't that much of a stretch for me to move into one, really.
So that's what you did. You sold your 4-bedroom, moved into a 2-bedroom.
Yeah.
Decided this isn't even for me either. Moved into what kind of van?
It's a 2002 Chevy Road Trek.
Okay.
So it's actually a Class B RV.
Okay.
Right, but it's the size of a van,
Yeah,
which I love because I can park it in any parking spot anywhere.
Yeah, I've seen it here.
Yeah.
It's been in our parking lot.
Yeah. Your parking lot's really tiny.
It is a very small parking lot.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. So, but you get good at doing that. So.
Yeah, and one of the workers at work said, "I think she's living in her van. I saw her come out of it this morning." I'm like, okay, and then I read your blog, and I'm sure enough, yeah.
Yes, as a matter of fact. Although I'm staying in a hotel room while I'm doing it.
Right, of course.
I'm on travel status.
Yeah.
So the company pays for my accommodations. Now, if the campgrounds were open, then I would be staying in a campground.
Right. And you're coming back in June, you said?
Yes.
To finish up the route measurement stuff?
Yep.
And so then you'll probably stay...
Yeah, I'm looking at Kettle Lakes, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's only about a 20-minute drive into work in the morning, and I can surely handle that.
And work will pay the lot fee or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay, that works.
Yeah.
Why
Oh,
not?
absolutely.
And I guess they pay your gas and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, I worked hard to be a route measurement officer, and although they say that travel is glamorous, when I haven't been back down into my home area in 2 months.
Yeah, you've been here that long, right?
Well, I've been here for 6 weeks, and I was in New Brunswick before I came here for 2 weeks. So I haven't hugged my grandkids in 2 months. So that's kind of a long time.
Yeah.
But it's my job, and I love doing my job. So, there's perks, and there's not so many perks.
Yeah, for sure. Did you take the Chevy to New Brunswick? Or you flew?
No, I flew.
Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't want to travel
in
that
February.
much. Oh, February.
Yeah.
You don't want to be living in a van in February.
Well, no. Well, I do. I do live in. If I'm not on travel status, then I do live in my van.
Oh, year round.
Year round.
In the Hamilton area or wherever you are.
Yeah, wherever I am. Yeah.
So, how long have you been doing this for? Living in the van?
This is going in my 4th year.
4th. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, here's what I want to know.
Okay.
So you had a 2-bedroom house filled with things, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Got rid of all of it, so just enough that you would be comfortable in your van. Okay. Now, in previous episodes of this podcast, I've talked about wanting to be a minimalist, getting rid of things.
Yeah.
Haven't been able to do it. I don't know why. How did you do it?
It's really all it is a decision. I mean, I took all the things that for keepsakes so if I died, my children would get these things. So I gave them to my children.
Before you died, so
Right.
they could appreciate it now.
Absolutely. So they have all those sentimental things and things that they chose, and then my friends as well. Like I just gave it all away. And it made my heart lighter giving it away, because it wasn't like I was making a profit on it or anything like that. And I'm not much of a selling person.
But you could have sold it all.
I could have.
Or some of it.
Yep.
Or whatever, and that would have helped support.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, it would have definitely helped. But again, I travel for a living, so you have to actually be there to sell the things.
Right.
So it really doesn't give you much opportunity to do things like that.
No.
So you kind of got to make a decision, and I think that getting rid of everything was easier for me because I was gifting it.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so timeline-wise, you had the 2-bedroom.
Yeah.
Did you also then have the Chevy?
No, I sold the house, and that following Saturday I went and picked it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'd given away all the stuff first.
Yeah.
Then sold the house, then got the van.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have 2 vans.
I do have 2 vans, yes.
Okay. So where do you store the van that you're not driving?
I have a friend of mine who stores vehicles in his barn, so or in his garage. So I have my van, my 69 stored there.
Bit of a home base area. Do you know where it is?
Yeah, and there's enough room there that I can pull my road truck off to the side and go out and play in my van for a Sunday afternoon or whatever, and then put her back and go home.
Oh, that works.
Yeah, sometimes I don't even have to move from there.
Convenient.
Yeah.
What about mail? Now, most of it you can get electronically, I'm sure, but there must still be stuff that you have to get paper-wise, right?
Absolutely, and the Canadian government requires you to have a brick and mortar address for your driver's license and such. So I use my daughter's address for that. So, and I spend a lot of time at her place anyway, or outside of her place.
Right.
So, that kind of makes sense that's the way it would work.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
In the Hamilton area, I guess, because that's where you work.
St. Catharines.
So,
My daughter lives in St. Catharines, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, anything below North Bay is all Toronto to me, so I don't know.
No.
But
No, we try not to go to Toronto.
Right.
It's in Southern Ontario.
Yeah.
Yeah, wine country.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the weather's pretty much always nice.
Mostly. Yeah, mostly. I mean, it got pretty cold everywhere, I think, in Ontario this year.
This year, yeah.
It was a wicked cold winter. It was one of the worst winters that I've had so far, and I moved into my van on February 1st. Okay. So I'd already experienced the cold part of the winter, but this winter was really like everything in my van froze.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, so I went to Barrie for work one week, and because it's close enough to my home base, they don't pay for a hotel, right? It's because you can just drive home.
Oh, yeah.
So instead of driving home, it was 2 hours back down to southern Ontario, or 2 hours to Mew Lake, in Algonquin Park. So I went to Mew Lake in Algonquin Park. But I went to sleep, it was -3. When I woke up, it was -27. So I didn't prepare myself. I usually pay very, very close attention to the weather. But for whatever reason, I didn't prepare myself, and I woke up in the middle of the night and realized how cold it was in there, and it took a while to get, and everything was frozen, and everything in my fridge was frozen, my eggs, everything was frozen.
You could have woke up dead.
Well, no, then I wouldn't have woke up.
Yeah.
So there's none of that. But yeah, you have to be careful. You have to, weather and temperature and everything else becomes a very important factor.
I bet.
Yeah.
So how do you heat the thing?
I have a propane furnace.
Okay.
Because we got to remember it's a Class B RV, right? So it has propane furnace, and when I'm plugged in, I have space heaters that I can get going. But the furnace really does heat up the best.
It must.
Yeah.
So the van must have a different type of insulation than a regular vehicle?
No, not really. It's not a 4-season.
Okay.
Right? So, I mean, what I've done is I've taken body pillows and put them around the edges of the bed to try and insulate it a little bit more from the cold. I also changed all the curtains. So I put blackout curtains with insulation material and then made them tight to the windows. So the wind can't blow, well, it does a little bit, but better, right? And then the back, I took styrofoam in from insulation and I wrapped it in the curtain material, and I outfitted it to fit right inside the window.
Oh, okay.
So that it acts as an insulator for the cold and the heat, actually.
And it
So-
helps.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So you have the heater, you have the insulation, the special curtains. You said you had a fridge in there.
Yep, yeah.
Runs off propane or?
Yep, it'll run off propane, and the house, what we call the house battery, that runs the house portion of the van.
Okay.
So it'll run off of that. Not for long, though.
No. But
Not for long, no. You know, you're living life on a 12-volt battery, really. Right? So you have to be careful and watch your power sources. How much amperage becomes very important.
Okay.
How much draw you're getting out of that, right?
Yep.
So the next van I get will have a generator.
Good idea.
Then I can make toast.
Oh.
That's how I make it simple for people on what kind of draw and stuff, because when you
Yeah.
talk about electricity, it kind of gets complicated. So, you know, if I have a generator, I can make toast because I have enough draw. That'll give me enough amperage.
Oh, okay.
To,
So what do you have in there now? You have the fridge, you have a sink?
yeah.
Okay. Probably not a microwave.
Actually, there was a microwave in there, but I pulled it out because I really don't eat microwave food.
Oh, good idea.
So I use that extra space as a shelf, shoving it in.
Okay.
So, because every piece of space is important.
Is there like a little stove?
Yeah, there's a 2-burner stove.
Okay.
Yeah, bathroom, shower.
Oh, all that stuff is in there.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, because I was
Yeah.
going to ask, that was my next question. How do you clean yourself?
Yeah, I also have a gym membership.
Ah,
So to Anytime Fitness, unfortunately, Timmins doesn't have an Anytime Fitness, but I mean, there are lots of places you can grab a shower, truck stops, you know, like I said, the fitness areas and stuff. And I have an actual outdoor shower and an indoor shower in my van.
oh really?
So,
Okay.
yeah,
Oh, so it's got everything.
it does.
And it's just a regular size van.
It is,
So,
yeah. It's higher. It's 9.5,
Yeah,
about
yeah.
a little over 9 feet tall.
okay.
Right, so you can stand up in it and,
Yeah, because I did notice it had a big higher roof. So.
yes, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Now, could I stand up in it
absolutely.
at 6 feet?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You make it sound doable, actually.
It is doable. It's not easy.
No.
I'm not going to tell anybody. You know, you look on Instagram and Twitter and stuff, and you see all these California babes laying in the VW vans, and life is great. Yeah, okay. Well, that's a good vacation week, right?
Right, yeah.
But for the rest of us who have full-time jobs and have full-time lives and everything else, it being a nomadic person sometimes is very difficult. You know, but now that I'm doing it, I never own a house again.
Never, eh?
No.
Was it a big adjustment at first?
It was.
Mentally, right?
Mentally and physically. I mean, you don't move that much. You have 2 steps to the bathroom. You have 3 steps to the kitchen sink.
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So you're not moving that much. So you have to remember to get out there and get moving and you know, because I mean, even in my little 2-bedroom, it was a long walk to close the garage door and, you know, that kind
Yeah.
of stuff, right?
So you have to be more active on purpose.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot to take in. But it looks like you're enjoying it.
Yeah. I love it.
And you wouldn't change it.
I wouldn't change it. Wouldn't change it. I'd add some things, but I wouldn't change it.
Do you like scary movies? Well, we do too.
That's why the Spooky Dudes are talking horror movies every single week.
We discuss the latest in horror news and review a different film in each episode.
We'll bring you our opinions on the classics, the new stuff, and a little bit of everything in between.
So if you enjoy horror movies and lighthearted fun discussions, check us out, the Spooky Dudes podcast, right here on the ESO Podcast Network.
So what would you say was your biggest hurdle or learning curve moving from house to van?
I think probably not having a stationary home base.
Hard
You
to
know,
get used
yeah.
to.
Right, like, so, I mean, getting used to the fact that when I walked out of work and got into my van, I was home. So now where do you go? What do you do?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, at first you feel a little lost, you know, like, and there's also the adjustment of, I mean, it was only 5 years from the time that I had a full life with being a wife, a mother, and job, and everything else, to being alone. So you've got that adjustment as well in there, right?
Yeah.
But I think actually moving into the van helped that. I mean, because it's just such a small space, so there's only enough room for me.
It's cozy.
Yeah.
What does your family think of your lifestyle choice?
My girls, I have my girls and my brother and my sister-in-law, and they're very, very supportive. My girls kind of, they were adults when I did it. So they were like, yeah, that just fits you, Mom, because you could never stay in one place for very long, right? And although I lived in the same house for 24 years, we were always on the go.
Nomadic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the kids never knew. They came home on a Friday, and it was pack your bags, we're going here, whatever, right? So my friends, some of them thought I was out of my mind, But also, too, people assume. That's another thing, a person lives in the van, and you just assume that they've gone off their rocker, or, I had one friend contact me and say, I don't know what you're doing, you're quitting your job and moving into a van. And it's like, whoa.
I'm not quitting your job.
I'm not quitting my job. I like my job. So yeah, like, why would I quit my job? Because I live in a van.
Right.
But it's that social stigma that if you live in your vehicle, then you're desperate and you're poor.
Right.
Right?
And that's not necessarily the case. It's just your choice. It's what you want to do. It's similar to the people who do the tiny homes.
Yep.
It's, I don't know, 300 or 400 square feet or less.
Yeah.
And they're on somebody's back lot. Mm-hmm. But you have the freedom of movement. It's all right there. You can go wherever you want. Absolutely. Except for right now, because you're getting a new engine.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the text to tell me that she's running and she's good and we're good to go, and then I can go back down south. So otherwise, I'm here.
Right.
Yeah. As the mechanic, when I was talking to him on the phone, he said, "Are you gonna, go home after you ship me the van?" And I said, "Well,
you have my home."
Yeah.
And he said, "What?"
Yep. And sometimes people, I've taken it to mechanics before, and I've said to them that this is my house, right? Like, and they either don't believe you, or they're not listening, or because I've dropped it off at 8:00 in the morning and phoned at 3:00 in the afternoon, and I didn't get to it today. We'll just keep it overnight, and well, what am I, sleeping in your parking lot? Like,
right,
dude.
Because you can tell them and they still don't get it.
No.
And you must get all kinds of different reactions from all kinds of different people, right?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. And some people think it's just like so very cool, and other people just think I'm out of my mind,
but you're happy.
But I'm happy.
So who cares what they think?
Absolutely. That's my life.
Yeah. Exactly.
And sometimes you have to just stand up and say it's my life.
Well,
and I'll make this decision.
For sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know what else to ask you. Is there anything that you've learned specifically because of this that you think people should know, or?
I think probably never say never. Because if somebody had asked me 10 years ago if I was going to be like living in a van, and I would have looked at them like they were out of their mind.
Right.
I've already been married for 28 years, and and kids and grandkids and dogs and cats and all the rest of it, right? Mm-hmm. Like, so. You just never say never. You never know what will happen.
No, that's exactly true. Yeah. How do you keep in touch with your friends and stuff? Do you just...
Facebook and phone and,
Because you have your cell phone still?
And, yeah. I have a portable internet hub, actually.
That's how you do it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how does that work?
It's just from Rogers. They have portable internet hubs.
Okay.
And it works on a flex plan, so the less I use, the less I pay.
Okay.
Right. So.
And that's how you do your Facebook?
Do my Facebook
and do the blog?
And Twitter and my blog. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And of course you can use Wi-Fi from Tim Hortons or whatever.
Yep. I actually have an antenna, a booster on the van that I can sit in the parking lot and go through when I'm using my computer, I can log on through there.
Okay.
And
you're
just
connected.
Boost the signal.
Right. Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah. That's you do the little things.
Mm-hmm.
It's all really, when you move to van size, it's all really about the little things.
So what kind of stuff do you have left? You had a 4-bedroom house and a garage filled with stuff.
I did. The hardest thing to get rid of was my cat. That was hard.
I bet.
He's a great cat, but he went to a really great house, and him and Jeff, and now Jeff's family are living wonderfully. He's got big 2 acres to run around on, and living the life of Riley. He was lounging on the back porch the other day, so He's doing well. Probably better than me some days. Yeah, and my Archie comic collection. I've the Archie comic double digest.
Yeah.
I've been buying them since I was a little girl.
And you had all kinds.
Yeah, and I run a custom van show. Well, I help run a custom van show with my partner Kevin. And the 1 year that I was moving, I took all my Archie comic collections and I put them in goodie bags and I gave them all the way to my friends who came through the gate.
Difficult to do?
Actually, it was fun because I'd walk into a circle because it's just like a big camping area.
Okay.
And everybody camps in circles in their clubs and stuff, and I'd walk into a circle and people would be sitting in their lawn chair reading their Archie comic.
Oh, nice.
So yeah.
So they got to enjoy your stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So give you a warm and fuzzy feeling.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. Okay, so clothes-wise?
Limited, very limited.
Must be.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've never been a really big clothes person to begin with.
Okay.
So I've always been the kind of person that I don't need a lot. I don't need fancy. I just need comfortable.
Okay.
As long as I'm comfortable, I'm fine.
And having a uniform probably helps.
Absolutely, that cuts down on the clothing, right?
Definitely.
So yes. So yeah, I appreciate the uniform actually.
My bet.
But yeah, I've had people say to me, like that you always seem to wear that dress. Well, I have 3 sundresses.
Right.
I don't know what to tell you.
I live in a van.
I live in a van. Yeah. There's no 2 of anything.
No.
You just don't buy 2 of anything.
Makes sense.
Costco card is useless.
Yeah, it would be.
Except for gas.
Yes, of course. So I guess you do your laundry at laundromats?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else? What kind of personal stuff do you have? Do you have anything left? Like knickknacks or things from childhood or?
No, a few little things here and there, that I can hang here or hang there, but not a lot. I've never been a real knick-knack kind of girl,
That helps.
So yeah, it really helps that I wasn't that kind of person that needed a lot of stuff.
Right.
So, and I think the downsizing from the 4-bedroom to the 2-bedroom helped really ease me into it.
Like a transition.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So you use that like a transition. So, but you use what you're going through as a tool to get to where you want to be.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Do you have like a favorite coffee mug or something?
Yep. I have my glass. There are certain things you need glass.
Yeah.
Right. So I have 1 glass plate.
Okay.
Because I really like to eat my food off of glass.
Mm-hmm.
And I have 1 glass coffee mug because I am a coffee maniac, and anybody who looks at my Facebook page, it's all about coffee. Mornings are all about coffee.
You gotta have the coffee.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. So, and I mean, I brew my own coffee in a little single coffee thing, and yeah.
You have everything that you need.
I do.
And nothing that you don't, pretty much.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's the way it has
And
to be.
people will give you stuff, you just think, oh, I was thinking about you, and here's this, and it's like, sorry, I really, I don't have any room for that.
Right.
I just...
Yeah, people just don't get it.
No, something goes in, something old has to leave. That's
Yeah.
just the way it is.
Because there's only so much space.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And all you need to do is accept that.
Yeah.
Right?
That makes, perfect sense.
Yeah.
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 And
So.
not a lot of people could do this.
I think everybody could do it if they want to.
If they want to.
Absolutely. I'm a big believer in if you want to do it, then you can do it.
Well, I've seriously thought about it. I listened to the Minimalist podcast and watched their documentary, but then I've got all this stuff from my grandmother and my great-grandmother. I'm like, well, what am I going to do with it? Right? So, it's too much stuff. But
Yeah, I know some people have storage units and stuff like that, and I just didn't see any purpose in that. Like, why do I want to pay $50 a month for stuff that I am not going to visit?
Well, it's true. It's just, it's there, and
Yeah.
what's the point?
What's the point? Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I love it. Finding places to park. One of my most asked questions is, where do you sleep at night? Because I boondock.
Which means what?
That means kind of living off the land.
Okay.
So I don't pay for campsites or anything like that. I find free places to park. I'm off the grid.
Yeah.
Right, totally. So Walmarts are wonderful people for letting us for letting us park overnight.
Because that's a traditional camping area.
It is. It is. It's a stopover.
Yeah.
Right. And unfortunately, we've had people think that it's a campground. You go in there and people got their lawn chairs out and everything, and it's it's a parking lot. So just pull up, park, go to sleep, go to a park. You're on 4 wheels. Move.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and but all kinds of little parks and you just have to kind of be adventurous and not be afraid to get the 3 a.m. knock.
That happens a lot.
Actually, it's only happened once or twice to me. Once in a cemetery, because I love cemeteries.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a very, very big cemetery buff. Long before I was living in a van, I was a big cemetery buff. Every city I go to, I visit a cemetery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but, yeah, sometimes you can get away with sleeping in them. Yeah. It's nice, it's quiet.
Yeah, I bet it's quiet. For sure it is. Yeah. Not much activity going on.
No.
What about food? Are you always at the grocery store, like pretty much every day or every few days?
No, because I have a fridge and a cupboard and stuff. I can go, a few days without going, and I have a tendency to go off into the forest if I can. Okay. Before the van broke down, every weekend I was not at the hotel room, and even though it was minus, I was still out parked somewhere in the forest.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I was chasing the aurora borealis.
Right, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, I never did see that. Felt it, didn't see it. Heard it, didn't see it. Yeah.
It's overcast here a lot.
It is. Yeah. It is.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I'm looking at the radar and it says 4.55. Oh, it's here. It's here. I can feel you.
Just can't see it. Yeah, it's true.
But next time.
For sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Barbecue, fishing, do you do any of that stuff?
I don't fish. I have a barbecue. Mm-hmm. I like barbecue. Okay. But I have a 2-burner stove, so I mostly cook on that. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a pain in the butt, unpacking everything. And unless I've gone and got a campsite, which I will, in summertime and stuff. It's another thing, conservation areas are awesome. You pay your $10 to get in for the day, and then you're in there and have a shower, do your laundry, go for a hike.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, for the day, right? Mm-hmm. So, so you do that kind of stuff.
So you're all set.
Yeah.
And
you just figure it out.
You do.
You just figure it out.
It's a learning process.
It is, absolutely. A learning curve. I mean, the gentleman that I met, that he lived in his van and kind of encouraged me to make the step. And I learned a lot from him, and I like to hope that people through my blog and talking to me on Facebook and that kind of stuff, and I have people messaging me and asking me questions, and I'm kind of hoping that I can help them to ease their transition into a life that they think they want. Yeah. So I mean, and if it turns out that that's not the life you want, at least you say that you tried.
Exactly.
Right?
Nothing
you
wrong
gave
with
it a shot.
That's
okay. Right. And that's what I kept telling my friends who were very concerned. That, you're going to get hurt and this is crazy, and how are you going to do this? And, and it's like, if it's not the life I want, then I can always just change it back.
Well, yeah, exactly. Easy.
Yeah, no?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so.
Well, I'm glad you came by to tell me about your story. I was really fascinated with it.
Oh, good. I'm glad I could share it with you.
Me too. So, if our listeners wanted to know more again, your blog again is
chipmunksrvlife.com.
Okay, and you said you're on Twitter?
I am. I'm on Twitter, and it's Chipmunk Adventures, and I'm also on Facebook.
Okay, just with your regular name?
With my regular name, and there's also a page that's Chipmunks Adventures as well.
Okay, well, we'll have all that in the show notes.
Okay.
And once again, thanks for coming by. Listeners, if you have any questions, don't forget to email us, soulforgepodcast@gmail.com, or just go to Stacey's blog and Facebook page and Twitter, and she'll answer as soon as she has Wi-Fi.
Absolutely.
All right, well, that's perfect. All right, so that was a great episode. Thank you again. And listeners, remember, let's go where the Wi-Fi is weak and the rum is strong. This has been another episode of the Soul Forge Podcast. Find us on Twitter @SoulForgePod, or email the show via soulforgepodcast@gmail.com. Soul Forge is a production of Sean Vanderloo and Friends. You can find Sean on Twitter and Instagram @DarthVaderloo. Remember to visit soulforgepodcast.com for all of our social media links, and share the show with everyone you know. Thanks for stopping by the Forge. We'll keep the fires lit until your next visit.
Now let's get started by letting me give you a little bit of a scenario of what my life is all about. First off, I am 35 years old, I am divorced, and I live in a van down by the river.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping through Amazon.com or the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.